It's the little things. Watching the stars, feeling the sand under my toes. The Al Jazeera journalist Peter Greste has been relishing his freedom after more than 400 days in an Egyptian jail. But mixed with his relief, huge angst over his two colleagues who remain behind bars. He said he would not rest until Mohammed Fahmy and Baher Mohammed had also been released. Their future is still uncertain. The last time we saw Peter Greste was not on television doing his job, but behind bars in an Egyptian court. Now the Australian journalist's personal ordeal has come to an end after 400 days in prison. His relief is tainted by the thought that his Al Jazeera colleagues Mohammed Fahmy and Baher Mohammed are still left to the mercy of the unpredictable Egyptian judicial system. Today, Peter Greste spoke to his television station from his hotel room in Cyprus. It is from there that he will eventually fly home to Australia.
Now, you spend 400 days in such close proximity with people, and you really get to know them very, very well. So it was a very difficult moment walking out of that prison, saying goodbye to those guys, not knowing how much longer they will have to put up with this. I really didn't want to let myself believe it really was happening until I got my backside on a seat on the plane with my brother Mike.
Although today he feels he has left part of his family in prison.
Over that period I've gotten to know and in fact accept both Baher and Fahmy and the others as family. They're my brothers. It couldn't be any other way. Fahmy is an extraordinary professional, a very dedicated journalist and a very passionate, very strong-willed character. Baher is one of the most amazing family men I've ever met. And in fact, if anyone has suffered out of all of this, it is Baher, because he has a wife and 3 children, one of whom was born while he was in prison. It was incredibly tough for him, as someone so devoted to his family, to have to be where he is, knowing that he's innocent, knowing that this is a huge mistake.
The journalists became caught up in an international political tangle that had seen their employer, the Qatari state-owned Al Jazeera, becoming an enemy of the state. This was after the Muslim Brotherhood government, supported by the Qataris, was ousted in a military coup led by the current president, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. It appears that Greste is now free thanks to a decree issued by the same President Sisi in November, which allows convicted foreigners to serve their sentences in other countries. That leaves Mohammed Fahmy with a glimmer of hope, as he is Egyptian but holds a Canadian passport too, but leaves Baher Mohammed with little to look forward to. For not only is he Egyptian, he's also regarded as having an allegiance to the Muslim Brotherhood. Indeed, today an Egyptian court sentenced 183 supporters of the Muslim Brotherhood to death, bringing to 1,500 the total now facing execution. Yesterday, there were 16 journalists languishing in jail in Egypt. Today, there are 15, trying to do what Peter Greste did, to stay sane.
Dealing with each day as it came, and hopefully, touch wood, I haven't come out of it too damaged.
Well, now, before Peter Greste made his first public comments, late at night, Australian time, I managed to speak to his parents, Juris and Lois Greste, at their home in Brisbane. I asked them if they felt Peter was the same man after his ordeal.
Oh, yes, very much so. With a great big grin across his face and a laugh in his voice.
So you've been able to connect with him by Skype, have you, Juris?
Yes, we have had a couple of telephone conversations with him since he was freed. One was from the departure area at the Cairo airport, and then we had another short conversation from Cyprus once he arrived.
I mean, presumably you're still very concerned about the other 2 who were put in with him.
Absolutely. And we hope that, that soon they will be freed like Peter, because they like Peter, are innocent of any crimes.
How do you think he's managed to survive this so well? Because you describe him as being the same old Peter Greste, but what do you think has kept him going?
Oh, look, I think all the things that he's been doing, you know, exercise, study, meditation, reading, his activities in the prison itself has kept his mental state good, his physical state good. That was one of his aims, was to come out of the prison as the way he walked in.
I know that Al Jazeera have been very, very supportive to the family, have looked after you both in Cairo and back home as you have had to go through this terrible ordeal. But do you feel that in any way they perhaps let him down in the first place in terms of protecting him in Egypt?
Hindsight is always full of all kinds of wisdoms. We don't, and nor do we believe Peter holds any recriminations against what happened in the past and how things were done. That's for perhaps way down the track in the future. In the meantime, indeed, we are appreciative of all the support that we have had, because certainly without that we would still be at the starting line.
Let me just ask you finally, I'm Lois. Both of you have been through this appalling ordeal too. It's been very, very testing. How have you survived, and what toll has it taken? You look both pretty good, actually.
Well, thank you. Look, it's been tough. There's no doubt about it. And I guess we've had to work. We've put aside our lives in a way for the whole of the 13 months that Peter's been in prison, and worked tirelessly to try and get him out. And so Andrew and Mark too, and their wives. It's been a whole family thing. And I'm not sure what the aftermath will be, but I know that the family has got stronger through it.
Well, thank you both very, very warmly indeed. Thank you very much. I know a lot of people will be wishing you very, very well. Thank you for joining us, both Euris and Lois. Thank you.
Thank you,
Not at all.
John.